to discuss topic 2, that is the promotion and formation of company. Promotion and formation of companies. Promotion and formation of companies. Promotion and formation of companies. So who formed the company? So in this question, in this topic, you will be asked who formed the company, what are the responsibilities of the person who incorporated the company, and then do we pay this person who incorporated the company? So if we divide what is a promotion, is a process of by which a company is incorporated. So this one is a process, by which a company is what? Is incorporated under this act. So which act are we referring? So we are referring to the Companies Act. CAP 486. The CAP 486, that is which defined the what? The promotion. So, and we have, so the person who undertake this process of incorporating the company or registering the company, we call it a promoter. The person who take the responsibility of incorporating the company, registering the company, collecting all the information, the document required, is called the promoter. So we have to define who is the promoter. Also, we need to know what are the function of the promoter. Also, what are the right of the promoter? So if we define a promoter, is generally anyone who assumes a primary responsibility, with regard to the matters relating to the promotion, promotion. So any person who take part in the process of this promotion is called what? A promoter. This promoter, it should not be necessary the owner of the company or the director of the company. No, it can be even someone who is not relating with the business. It's just a person who have the specialized knowledge on what? Incorporating the business. It might be the lawyer or any other person. So what are now duties of this promoter? So we now need to know the duties of a promoter, the duties of a promoter. So the first duty of a promoter is to determine the name of the company. So is the one determining the name of the company. So is the one doing the name search. Also, is the one preparing constitutive document. So is the constitutive document we are saying is Nigani Memorandum of Association and AOA, Article of Association, and Article of Association. And then also another duty of this promoter is the one to nominate the first director of the company. So he is the one to nominate the director, the first director of the company. And another duty is to act in good faith, and best interest of the company. Also, this promoter is not allowed to make any profit from the company. So there is a case there. A small case. Maybe I can read this case so that we can understand what are the roles and obligation of this promoter. So there is a case This case imeandikwa hivi Gluckstein versus Banners versus Banners. So it is good when you are doing any law, you just have easy cases, so itakusaidia ku understand more. So this case inasema the promoter bought a property. The promoter bought a property at 140 Kenya shilling, 140 Kenya shilling from a company in financial difficulties or financial distress. They then sold it to the company at a profit of 20,000. They then sold it at a profit of 20,000, which they failed to disclose. Full stop. When the company went into a liquidation, a few years later, the court held that the promoter were liable to hand over 20,000, being a sacred profit. So what are we learning from that case? So the promoter should not make a sacred profit without disclosing to the owners of the company, So in that case, there is a breach of duty. So in that case, there is a breach of what? Of duty. There is a breach of duty. But is it breach of duty also? It has remedies. Ziko na solution or exemption. It has a remedies. So we are now have to look at the remedies for breach of duty. The remedies of breach of duty. Remedies of breach of duty. Remedies of what? Breach of duty. So the first remedy is where a promoter has made a profit, through the sales of a private property to the company, the company may rescind or the company may avoid the contract. And recover the purchase price. So that is the remedy of the company on how they can what? They can recover the losses from what? They got from the promoter. So they can't, because if you remove yourself from the contract, then it means that contract is not legally binding. So that is the first way of the company to remove themselves from the contract, and then that contract will be what? Invalid. Another remedy is where the rights under the property have been acquired by the third party. The company can recover the sacred profit. So the company can recover the sacred profit from the third party. And then the last remedy is where fraud is proved. Damages may be recovered from the promoter, and if he is a director, he may be liable for misapplication of the company's fund. So that is if a promoter commit any of the duty which is not their duty, then the company can have those three remedies to recover their losses. And then now we have the remuneration or the payment of this promoter. So who paid this promoter? Because a promoter is not an employee of the company. Is not an employee of the company, is not a director of the company, is not the shareholder. So who paid this promoter? So that is another, the next concept we need to know, remuneration of a promoter. Remuneration of a promoter. Remuneration of a promoter. Remuneration of a promoter. So a promoter has no right against the company. The promoter has no right against the company for payment of service. That is very clear. So if you are a promoter, you don't have any right to claim for the company to pay you. So you don't have any right according to the Companies Act. You don't have any right. So it is only so, but there is a way in which the company can't pay these promoters. There is a way in which the company can pay these promoters. So number one, by allowing to sell the private property to the company. So the first one, by what? Allowing to sell a private property to the what? To the company. So that is the first way. So they can allow this promoter to sell the private to the company at a profit, but they must to disclose that one. Number two is by taking commission on shares sold, by taking commission on shares sold, by taking commission on shares sold, Another one is by fully or being allotted fully paid shares. Number three is being allotted. Allotted is to give. Being allotted fully paid shares, fully paid shares, by being allotted fully paid shares. Another one is by being allowed to buy shares at a fair price, by being allowed to buy shares at a fair price, that is number 4. Number 5, also this promoter, it can be appointed as a director. It can be appointed as a director. So it can be appointed as a director. So you must be, so make sure that you understand this or you memorize this, because the examiner might ask you, explain 5 ways in which the promoter of the company can be paid or can be remunerated. So you will make sure that you remember this point. So see point ziko ngumu. You can easily remember. Now, so I hoped hakuna any challenge so far. Unajua ukiongea kama kuna moderator mwenye anaongea anaangalia kama kamera sawa, ama unaweza stukia watu hawako huko. Tunaenda, we moving?
Yeah, moving.
Ama mimi niko faster.
We are okay.
So if we are okay, then we can now go to the second concept, then another concept called a pre-incorporation contract. Pre-incorporation contract. So pre-mean, this it mean what? Before. This one mean before. So, and then incorporation, we know incorporation is forming the company. So promotion is what? A process of forming the company. And then we know the contract. This is agreement. This is agreement. This is agreement. So, so when you say a pre-incorporation, we mean these are the what? The agreement which was ended before the forming of the company. So the agreement which was ended before the formation of the company. So now we want to see the legality of these contract. So are these contract legal? Are these contract legal? Are these contract legal? So that's what this concept pre-incorporation contract is all about. So if we look at the notes, it's defined this one as these are contracts entered into by promoter on behalf of the company before incorporation. So now we have the rules which relate to the pre-incorporation contract. We have the rules which relate to the pre-incorporation contract. Say the following rules relate to the pre-incorporation contract. Because so you have to understand, before even we look at those rules, it is that the company is not liable to any contract which was entered before the formation of that company. Remember to say a company is a person. Company is a divisional person. So if you enter a contract with the company before formation, so hizo contract zote zitakuwa invalid or void. They will not be valid. But now we have exemption. So we have exemption. So hizo exemption ndio tunasema hizi are rules. So number one is that all pre-incorporation are void against the company. Yes. So all the contract before the formation of the company are void. And they cannot be rectified by the company. So there is a case there, Kellner versus Baxter. So ukisoma utaielewa hiyo. And then another rule is that if after incorporation, the company renegotiate a pre-incorporation contract on a similar or a different term with a third party, this discharge the pre-incorporation contract and the company become liable on a newly negotiated contract. So you can see that one has changed because tumeambiwa if you enter into a contract before the formation of the company, then that one is not valid or it is not enforceable. But now after the formation of the company, then the company now go back and renegotiate with the promoter on the contract which was there before. Then that contract now, it can be reinforced back and it will be what? It will be enforceable by law. Another one, the third rule is that a person who purport to make a contract on behalf of the company, to be formed, does so at his own risk, so that if he was to provide that liability and could seize upon incorporation, is still liable on the contract. So that one we are talking about the promoter. And then another rule number 4 is a company cannot after incorporation enforce pre-incorporation contract made in its name. So after formation of the company, you cannot enforce the pre-incorporation contract. So isn't your concept unafaa ujue under the pre-incorporation contract. So
I have a question.
Yes.
That the promoter, once the company is formed, is his terms of agreement expires there and then.
But don't you have said the promoter?
From the last point,
Mm-hmm.
you've said the promoter, once he cannot, after the formation of the company,
Mm-hmm.
he cannot effect anything.
Yes,
So
he's not an
does
employee
it
of
mean
the
that
company.
contract?
He's not anybody to the company, right? Because it's like you want your document, you are forming the company, right? So if you are registering your company, you will go to the Sharia house, right? So ukienda Sharia house, unaweza pata kuna some of the expertise wanajua the process of registering the company. They know the document which you required to have before you register the company. So you can see that person is totally different to the owners of the company, right? So if you made a contract, remember the one who registering the company is the directors or the shareholders. So the shareholders, if they make an agreement between that promoter, then remember at that moment, this company they wanna form, it is not there. It is not there. So, but now after formation, then they will say, let's go back to our agreement. Let's go back to our agreement. So if they reinforce back, then that contract, it will be what? It will be enforceable. That's why not number 3, ama ilikuwa number 2, walikuwa wametuambia hivyo. If after incorporation, the company renegotiate the pre-incorporation contract on a similar terms with a third party. This discharge the pre-incorporation contract and the company become liable. But that one, if you renegotiate with the third party, but now not the promoter. So the promoter cannot renegotiate back to the company. No. So that's why you're not the last note inatuambia. A company cannot after incorporation enforce the pre-incorporation contract made on the similar time. Ukisha form a company, imeisha tu hapo. Kuna swali lingine?
I'm okay now.
So, but now, so we have the ways in which a promoter can overcome the personal liability, this personal liability, because if you undertake the responsibility of registering a company, then in the way you can incur any damages, or the breach of contract. And if there's a breach of contract, automatically there will be a liability. Or the promoter will be liable to any damage. But now there are some ways in which this promoter can't overcome, ways in which a promoter can't overcome a personal liabilities. The ways in which a promoter can overcome personal liability. Number 1, he may incorporate the company first before it enter into the contract. So the first one is that incorporate the company first. Incorporate the company first before entering into the contract. So form the company first before entering into the contract. So that is the first way of avoiding that liability. Number 2, he may purchase an already existing company. He may purchase already existing company. He may purchase already existing company. And then contract to sell the property. Remember that one in ile point here. You cannot sell a private property to the company. And then contract to sell to sell a property, then contract to sell a property, then contract to sell the property. Number three, the promoter may agree with the other party that he shall not be personally liable. So he might put a contract that he will not be personally liable. He will not be personally liable. He will not be personally liable. If the company fails to adapt the contract, if the company fail to adapt or adopt the contract. So in that case, it will be very clear to any person dealing with a promoter. So he will know the outcome that if the company will not adapt or will not enter into this contract in future, then this person will not be what? Will not be liable. And the last one, the last way is that the promoter may enter into a provisional contract. The promoter may enter into a provisional contract with the third party, which shall be subject to approval by the company, on in the provisional contract, so that after the incorporation, the company may what? May approve those provisional contract. And then now, so that one makes at the end of the concept of a promoter. And then now we have the procedures of incorporating the company, the procedures of forming a company. So we have procedures of forming the company. So we have procedures of what? Incorporation. Procedures of incorporation. So the first procedure is it's say that the promoter may engage in a promotional process, which must include whether they are forming a public limited company or a private limited company. Or also, they have to check whether they are forming a company limited by shares or a company limited by guarantee. So, but the process of forming the company, it is all the same, whether it is by guarantee, by shares, limited, or a public company. The procedures are all the same, even if it is the foreign company. So the first one, you must do application of reservation of the name. So the first one is what? Application of reservation of the name. I remember yesterday we said, if you are registering a company, you should not relate the name of the illegal activities to the company you are forming. So the name of the company should not relate to the illegal activities, or also it should not something that it discriminates the nation, or it sells the nation to the enemies. And also the name should not be the one you register a company, or you call the new company you are registering a new name, which that name is already existing in the market. So you will be sued by the other company because of what? Using their name. That's why if you do that one in a citizen account, it will take around 1 week. So after now the e-citizen or the register of companies approve the name, they will give you an option to select, because you have to write 3 names. And then they will select one, they will give you that one. So after getting the name, then you have to prepare preparation of constitutive documents. The second step is preparation of constitutive documents. So basically the document we are talking about here is MOA and AOA. So you can reach the lawyer or the secretary, the certified secretary, to prepare for you this document, because these are the governance rules of the company or the constitution. Remember, the constitution is a document which contain set of rules and regulation. So after that, then now application for registration. So you submit now to the register of companies. Application for registration. Application for registration. So after application for registration, because the promoter must launch an application to the register of companies. So application must be accompanied by the memorandum of association, an article of association, together with the following document. So una document also lazima usubmit. The document is the statement of nominal capital. That statement of nominal capital, it will shows how much the shares una own. So ukiregister the company for the first time, I think they give you 1,000 shares. 1,000 shares at 100 bob. So that one, it come around 100,000 nominal capital. 100,000 nominal capital. But I don't know kama imechange. So utapata ukiregister unapewa C2. Utapata hiyo C2 ndio iko na hiyo description. That is the statement of what? Nominal capital. And then another one, the particulars of the directors. You must know the resident of the directors. Are they a resident or non-resident directors? Also, you must accompany the copies of IDs and KRA PIN. And now another one is the notice of the location of the registered office. So after that, application of registration, then you make the payment. So payment of fee and stamp duty. So number 4 is payment of registration fee and stamp duty. And then the last one is the presentation of the document for registration. Then now presentation, but nowadays these things you submit online, so you don't need to go to the register of companies. Hapo sheria house, presentation of what? A document. This one you upload online nowadays because of the technology. So that's now make the end of our procedures of what? Forming the company or the procedure. So after the register of companies are satisfied with the document you have submitted, they have checked the payment, they have checked everything, the name, then they will what? Approve your application, and they will issue you with the certificate of incorporation. So they will give you issue of what? Certificate of incorporation. So this certificate of incorporation, it will show the name of the company, the registration number, and the date of incorporation. That is all. So they don't have a lot of detail. So it will show that maybe if it is they will say Caleb and Associate was incorporated on this date, and the registration number is this. That is all. Haina vitu nyingi. Iko na only like 3 lines. And that's now. So we have now to look at another concept, that is post-incorporation requirement. Post-incorporation requirement. After now incorporating the company, the Company Act requires us to do what? The Company Act requires us to do what? Number one, the Companies Act requires us to appoint a director, and secretary, Remember, we will left tutaachana na promoter because a promoter is not relating to the company. So after appointing the director and secretary, then you get the common seal. Remember, we say a company is a divisional person. He can sign the document, he can enter into a contract to the other party. So, but now it is not an existing one. You cannot touch the company. So this company will come in using the common seal. I hope umeshaangalia the common seal. Let me check if I have one with my company. So this is a seal.